What's up, you all? What's up, you all? I'm on a time schedule. I'm on a time schedule. Let me get it. Welcome, you all. Welcome. Good morning. What's up, Gio? What's up, Trini QT? What's up, y'all? Supreme Risings. What's up, Propaganda Fluent? What's up, y'all? I just really got to get into a. What's up, Michaela? Okay, so what's up, y'all? I just really got to jump into it. Somebody said good day, God day. Okay, God day. Um, so on the screen, I have the future is female. Now, what I want you all to realize is that all these sayings that people are saying now are not for the time that's now, it's actually for the future. So I'll put some more slogans up here. What's up, you all? But the future is female is a statement that literally means that the future is going to be female. And when the future is female, it's talking about the future won't involve males, men, and not real men. And I'm realizing that all of these movements, all these agendas actually target men. All of these agendas and movements actually target men because it basically says that men don't have the fortitude or the willpower to overcome what's in front of them. That's what all these movements really boil down to. And it's an attack on men. I have a letter that I'm going to read from Margaret Sanger. And I also want to address a few things. Um, so let me get to it right now. Um, Now, someone got upset or someone made a comment, and probably a few people did, about what I said about Solomon. About what I said about Solomon, right? So I'll tell you why I called Solomon a fool. Moloch, also spelled Molech, a Canaanite deity associated in biblical sources with the practice of child sacrifice. So we know that Moloch, aka Molech, is the god of child sacrifice. This is what we know. Now, let me go to this scripture. Everything I tell you all is going to be backed up with scripture. I'm not just going to be talking out the side of my neck. I'm going to back it up with scripture. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to it. Then did Solomon build in high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. So we see that Solomon actually uh, built a on a high place, like an altar or a shrine or statue, possibly to Molech. So how would Solomon honor Molech? If Molech is the god of child sacrifice, how would Solomon honor Molech? This is not me making this up. This is in your Bible. It's in your scripture. How would Solomon honor Molech? I'll tell you how he'll honor him. He would honor him through child sacrifice. This is what made Solomon an abomination. Now, I know what I tell you all goes against everything that you all are taught. I know your pastor won't tell you this stuff, but I'm telling you this stuff because I realize the only thing that can set a person free is the truth. A person can't set you free. The only thing that can set you free is the truth. So again, Molech is the god of child sacrifice. Solomon, not just practiced this stuff, but he literally built a shrine before Jerusalem. So basically, he forced all of these people in Jerusalem to look up at these false gods that were abominations. Kind of like what they're doing right now when they're forcing all this stuff. They're forcing men walking around naked in front of children. They're forcing this stuff. You see, all this stuff starts off good. It starts off with, ooh, let Solomon be king because Solomon is David's son. And then you get what you asked for. Let's get Trump out of office. Let's get Biden, and you get what you asked for. Because at the core of the people's intent, it's not righteous. Why they want a king is not righteous. People want somebody in charge to alleviate the responsibilities that they should be making for themselves. Somebody said my screen is foggy. You know what? It might be oh, you know why my screen is foggy? I know why. I'm sorry, y'all. I think it's foggy because I got this little protector with this little thing on it. I think it's foggy because it is. It's like a screen protector on it. I'm gonna try to get it off, y'all. Let me see. Is it still foggy? Get that 4K. I gotta get a 4K camera. This is First Kings. This is First Kings, I think 11, verse 7 and 8. Likewise did he and likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. So basically, Solomon put all these shrines in a row on top of the city. So when everybody got up in the morning to do what they had to do, they'd look up and see all these false gods and statues and idols. So basically, he was terrorizing the people. This is why I said Solomon was a fool. This is why. And I said it because he literally got visited by God twice. God told him to stop doing this. God gave him grace and mercy, and he still did it. But I want you to pay attention that he was worshiping Molech. And the only way to satisfy Molech is through human sacrifice. David never had a star. That star you see, that pagan symbol, comes from Solomon. Solomon was into all this witchcraft and false god worship and devil worship and black magic. Solomon was into all that. Because like I said before, Solomon prayed for wisdom. Now somebody said, didn't Solomon build God's temple? Yes, he did. David couldn't build a temple because David had blood on his hands. Solomon built the temple, but Solomon also lost the kingdom the very next generation with his son. As you see, all throughout the scriptures, we deal with people's character. This is what all this is about. All this is about dealing with people's character. If you don't have any character, you're going to get the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast, the mark, the name or the number are summations of a person's lifelong journey through character. The same thing with the snake bite, aka the James Jones juice. I don't want to focus on Solomon. I got to get to my lesson. So back to what I was saying. The future is female. Now, I want you all to listen to this. And I know my people are going to get upset, but I don't really care because, ladies, these men are doing you a disservice because these men are weak. All these movements are really about making men weak. They're actually not about attacking women. They're actually about men. Now I'm explaining to you why. If it comes to abortion, right? Now keep in mind that women, I think, have over maybe 17 forms of contraception. So a woman should actually never get to the point of abortion. There's literally 17 forms of contraception. So a woman should actually never have to get to abortion ever. It's too many ways to not have a child when you're a woman. The whole child prevention system, or what do they call it? Pregnancy prevention system caters to women. So 17 forms of contraception for women to not have a child, we should never get to abortion. So now we see that women aborting their child is very intentional. Women aborting their child is very intentional. We're going to explain why. But this is really about weak men. And I'm gonna start with this. Now, how they weaken the men of my community is through racism. It's so the premise of racism says that white people are superior, and black people are inferior. How do we know this? Because white people are in charge and they're making black people suffer. So white people are superior, black people are inferior. This is the whole foundation of racism. So once a person acknowledges that racism is real, subconsciously you automatically put yourself in an inferior category. This is why they have to guilt white people into fixing racism, because the whole racism narrative puts white people above. Whether they deserve to be there or not, it just puts them above. So, but that's the whole premise of racism. And really, this stuff is designed to make men weak, because all of these agendas give people excuses to not be who God said they were. This is what all this is about. This all goes back to identity.
Understand my struggle as a black man. When I come home at night, I don't want to have to explain to my wife, who may not be black, why I'm angry. Because I have friends who married outside, and they come back and they say to me, like, can you believe she gonna say to me why everything has to be about race? And sometimes I say, bro, I can understand that because she's not black. You have to understand that you made that choice, so you have to educate her. I just felt like marrying a black woman is marrying someone who knows me, and someone who can also teach my children how to be black. So for me, marrying a black woman and loving a black woman is like the epitome of loving myself.
Now, see, what he said, it sounds good. But if you really pay attention to what he said is he wants to marry a woman that's going to pander to his insecurities. I'm going to say this right now. If you're on a job, you're out in the world, and white people are picking on you, then they're picking on you because you're a coward and you're soft. And we already know that out here in the wild, it's survival of the fittest. Only the strong survive. So if white people are picking on you, it's because you're a sucker. If white people are harassing you and picking on you, it's because you're soft and weak and they see a sucker. So I don't have that experience. I don't come home every day upset with the world because of white people. I don't. But a soft man would. A soft man would feel that way. You can't tell me that when you go outside every day, white people are picking on you and harassing you. It got so bad that we went from racism to microaggressions. All this stuff is done to make men weak. What is a microaggression? What is a microaggression? I was at a company called the Weather Channel. I've worked in corporate America for years. I was at the Weather Channel, and somebody, one of the direct producers of a show, lied on me. White guy lied on me, producer of a show. Now, he lied on me by putting in an email, right? So he put something that wasn't true at the end of an email about something that I did that I didn't do. So I sent the email to everybody too. Excuse me. So I sent an email to the CEO, to the board, and I told them exactly what happened and told that person, don't tell a lie on me. Now, what you all would have did, most of you all, based on your psychology with white people, you all would have cowered and cried and complained. I sent the email to the CEO of the Weather Channel. This is not true. This is what it is. So when I sent that email, manager came, everybody came to talk to me about me sending the email to everybody, the board and everybody. You know why? Because normally people don't stick up for themselves. This is not a white thing. It's not a black thing. People don't stick up for themselves because they are afraid of the consequences of sticking up for themselves. I don't care. I'm not going to be bullied. I'm not going to be chumped off. None of that stuff. You all will. This is the whole purpose of the whole racism narrative, is to make the men in our community weak. Is to make our men say, when I come home, I want a woman that's not of my race to rub me on the back and tell me everything's going to be okay. You soft. Imagine a man coming home crying to his woman about white people picking on him. To me, that's grounds for divorce. That is a dishonoring of the vows of your marriage. Y'all coming home stressing these women out because you feel insecure about some white people who ain't even thinking about you. This is the whole purpose of the racism narrative, is to make you weak. And then these folks get on TV and they tell you, we have the solution to appease your insecurity. We have the solution to appease your insecurity. These men in my community are doing you all a disservice. And not just the men in my community, because it's going to spread. We'll listen again. Ladies, you all deserve better. I'm telling you right now, ladies, you all deserve better than a man coming home crying about some white people that he thinks is picking on him. That's all it is. You think somebody white is picking on you. So that means you're getting bullied. So that means if we were in school and you had your lunch money in your pocket and you pulled it out, somebody would have came by and took it. Or you had your food in your lunch tray, somebody would have came by and took it. If somebody would have grabbed your food off your tray, you got to hit them in the mouth. It's principle. If someone takes your lunch money, you got to hit them in the mouth. It's principle. So if somebody white is picking on you, you know what you got to do. I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just saying I sent the email to the CEO and said that guy's lying, period. And everybody said, you can't do that. You can't do that. I said, well, you better tell him, don't send him more emails. You can't do that. That's it. Well, tell him, don't send any more emails. That's how we solve that. You don't send any more emails, I won't send the emails. But if he send the emails, I said the next one's gonna be worse. Because I might include pictures in the next one. I might have some pictures of him in compromising positions. So I advise y'all to leave me alone. But that's me though. Y'all like to get picked on by white people. Y'all love it. Y'all always complain about white people, but do something about it. If these white folks is terrorizing y'all, do something about it. Do something about it. Otherwise, shut your mouth. But to go home and bother your wife because you getting picked on, that's grounds for divorce. Ladies, you deserve better. Ladies, you deserve better.
You can understand my struggle as a black man. When I come home at night, I don't want to have to explain to my wife, who may not be black, why I'm angry. Because I have friends who married outside, and they come back and they say to me, like, can you believe she gonna say to me why everything has to be about race? And sometimes I say, bro, I can't understand that because she's not black. You have to understand that you made that choice, so you have to educate her. I just felt like marrying a black woman is marrying someone who knows me and someone who can also teach my children how to be black. So for me, marrying a black woman and loving a black woman is like the epitome of loving myself. You can understand my struggle as a black man. When I come home at night.
So basically what you hear what he's saying though. Teach my kids how to be black. Teach your kids how to be soft like you. Ladies, don't do it. Ladies, stop giving your womb to these men. Like, these men are soft. Ladies, they soft. Stop giving your womb to these men because your seed won't be able to make it. I said your seed won't be able to make it. The future is female is a declaration. This is why the future is going to be female. This is why. because the men are soft. The men are looking for a way out and a way of escape. I was in college and I was supposed to graduate, and they forgot to give me a credit. They forgot to give me 1 credit for being a student athlete. When you were in college, you get credit for being an athlete. They didn't give me the 1 credit I was supposed to get for being a student athlete. So they said I had to wait till December to graduate. So I was like, nah, I'm not waiting. They said, well, you have to go talk to your college, talk to the president of your college, you know, all this stuff. So long story short, I go to my college and I'm talking to the receptionist and I'm telling her, listen, I need 1 credit. The president of the college, she can override it. All she got to do is just override it. I can graduate on time. My family, got my family coming. This is going to be a big thing. All that. Now, the lady can hear me talking because her office is upstairs, but her door is open. So the lady is talking, but she's talking about me like I'm not standing there. So she's like, tell him to come back, such and such. Tell him to, basically, she's telling her to tell me to send me on some scavenger hunt or some wild goose chase. This is what she's saying. So I tell the lady, I say, listen, I want you to tell her this because I know she can hear me. I say, listen, I said, I'm gonna tear up this entire office. I'm gonna pull up all these phones, and then I'm gonna take all these computers and I'm gonna smash them on the ground. I said, y'all gonna have to call the campus police. So the lady had to go tell the lady, listen, he's threatening to tear the building up. So then she comes out, she looks at me, she says, okay, come talk to me. Eventually, I got to graduate on time. What I'm telling you all is the reason why you're suffering from racism is because you're a coward. The reason why you're suffering from racism is because you're insecure. This is why you're suffering. There's no way you can walk through life suffering if you were courageous, faithful, brave, with honor, with character, with principles. There's no way you can walk through life suffering encompassing those things. So that means you're walking through life suffering due to racism. It's because you're weak and you're a coward. I was prepared to tear the whole office up and then get arrested by the campus police. And I guess what? And I'm telling her this. I'm telling her this on the table. You know, I'm on the table laying down talking to her. I'm telling her, I'm already showing her I'm gonna do it because I'm laying across the table like I'm like this. I'm gonna tear all this up. I'm gonna tear it up. I don't care. At the end of the day, you're not finna just tell me I can't graduate because y'all made a mistake. What y'all are doing is y'all are saying because white folks are in charge, I gotta just bow down, but then go complain to my spouse. The women deserve better. The women deserve better. The women deserve better. Y'all sitting there crying about racism. Basically, y'all saying white people are picking on me. Then do something about it. Get your lunch money back then. Get your fruit cup back. You know, you had your lunch tray, you had your fruit cup, your juice. Get your juice and your fruit cup back. Get it back. If you're so oppressed, get your fruit cup back. Get your lunch tray, get it back. If you so oppressed, stop being a coward. I married a black woman because I wanted her to understand what it is to be black, and then I wanted to raise my children to be black. That's a coward. Raise your children to be, like y'all say all the time, kings and queens. Raise your child to be a king and a queen, not to be black. I raised my child to be black. I raised my child to be oppressed. I wish I would. You see my shirt. I ain't black. I'm free. Because as soon as you say you're black, you automatically put yourself in an inferior class because you're oppressed. White people have their knee on your neck, no pun intended, when you're black. So subconsciously being black automatically puts you in the oppressed state. That's why when they got on TV and said, get this snake bite or else, none of my people said a word. You know why? Because it made them actually feel black. If my people had said this snake bite is racist and made a big fuss, it would have halted the entire process for the whole world. We actually could have stopped this happening for the whole world. All we had to do was do what we did for George Floyd. All we had to do was do what we did for George Floyd. But we didn't. We didn't do it for George Floyd. Somebody said the whole world's going soft. We've gone from racism. We've gone from actual racism to microaggressions. What is a microaggression? In the big scheme of things, how are you offended by a microaggression? How is a microaggression making you feel so bad? How? A microaggression. I'ma not say good morning in the morning. Okay. Y'all going to work. Y'all going home crying. Man, my white manager didn't say good morning, man. I'm tired of this racism, man. I'm tired of it. Man, my white co-worker, he gave everybody else a cookie but me, man. I'm tired of racism, man. I know I told him I don't eat cookies, but I'm just saying, man. I know I told him I'm on a diet, but I'm just saying, man, he could have gave me a cookie, man. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of these microaggressions. This is how we sound. I'm tired of these microaggressions. Oh, man. You know, these microaggressions are like, it's like slavery. It's like I'm going to work and they put me in chains because they won't speak to me. They won't be nice to me. Oh. That's how we sound. That's how we sound. That's how we sound. This is why the world is going to be destroyed, because the men are weak. They're soft. The men are weak and soft. They're soft. Ladies, you all deserve better. Ladies, you all deserve better. If your man is coming home complaining, leave him. If your man is coming home and saying, baby, they forgot to include me in the email. I'm tired of racism. Leave. Don't pat him on the back. Don't rub his head. Don't fix him anything to eat. Leave. That is grounds to get divorced, because he is cheating on you with cowardice. He is cheating on you with inferiority. He is cheating on you with weakness. He is cheating on you with abandoning his position in your life and being a sucker or a buster. That's what he's doing. He's cheating on you with his lower self. That's grounds to leave, because all he's going to do is drag you down with him. All we had to do was say, we don't want the snake bite, and the whole world is saved. That's all we had to do. No guns, no court cases, all we had to do was say, the snake bite is racist and we're not taking it, and the whole world would stop. Just like when George Floyd was on the ground with that knee on his neck and the whole world was protesting. It's the same thing. So you all proved that you all could do it. So that lets me know when you didn't do it, it's because you were a coward. And that's it, and that's all. So to be black is not only to be controlled, but to be black is to be a coward as well. Because when you're black, the solution rests in what? Something that white people want to give you. It doesn't say go out there and get it yourself, because if that was the case, then you couldn't say it was racism. If you could go out there and get it yourself, then there's no racism. So clearly, being black is to also be a coward. And my mother didn't raise a coward. My mother, one time, we were at a restaurant on Broadway, and I'm a lot like my grandfather. I'm a lot like my uncle and my mother. I guess my aunt too, kind of. I guess my whole family. But we have a strong personality. My mother, we were at a restaurant and we went there for breakfast. I remember I was very young. I may have been 8 years old, maybe. 8 or 9 years old, and we were waiting for a long time to get our food. And so once the lady set me and my mother, my mom ordered the food, but she didn't actually order food for herself. No, my bad. She ordered breakfast food for both of us. We're at the table, and she's just standing there with a mean, like with a mean mug on her face, meaning she was like visibly upset. And I was looking at her, I was puzzled, like, and she was like, eat, just eat. So I ate. I was eating, and my mom didn't touch her food. She didn't touch it. And I'm eating, we get done. My mom pays for the food. But what she does with her plate is, my mom gets her plate and she dumps it all over the table, and then gets up and we walk out. And the lady said something to my mother. I don't remember what she said, but my mother turned around. The whole restaurant heard, but my mother turned around and looked at her. And have you ever seen someone like get beat up without getting touched? It was weird because my mom turned and looked at her, and the lady just kind of like folded. Like she just looked and she was just like, and just like she was defeated. And we left. And I asked my mother, I said, why'd you do that? As a child, you can't even process why your mother would take a plate and dump it all over the table. But my mother said, she said, they were seating people before us. I was like a child, I'm like cutting in line. She's like, yeah, like cutting in line. I was like, oh. So the lesson I got was, if anybody try to cut in line, dump your food all over the table. So these are lessons my mother taught me, to not be bullied, to not be taken advantage of, to not be a sucker or a buster. This is what my mother taught me. I didn't learn how to grow up cowering in front of white people. I didn't learn that. I wasn't raised that way. I wasn't raised to be crying about white people. I wasn't. My mother didn't raise me like that. My mother was very vocal about how she was going to get treated and how she was not going to get mistreated. And if anybody had a problem with it, it was going to be a problem. That was my mother, though. So those same traits that she had, I have. This is what it is. So I don't go outside every day worried about racism. I don't go outside every day feeling like the world's on my shoulders because of white people. Because if I did, that would mean I was a coward. Because if I really felt that way, I got to do something about it. Everybody sees that picture of Atlas with the world on his shoulders. But if you notice, Atlas never takes it off. He chooses to put the world on his shoulders, which means Atlas ain't making any excuses. Even though the world probably doesn't deserve it, Atlas still holds the world up. He's not making any excuses. That's a man. Atlas is a man. And if these men thought like Atlas, to say, no matter what's going on in the world, I'm still going to hold the world up, the world will be a better place. But ladies, you all deserve better. If a man is coming home to you crying and complaining about white people, that is grounds for divorce, because he is cheating on you with being a coward. He is cheating on you with not being who God said he was. Now they're gonna get on here and say, Blanche, telling men advocating for divorce. I'm not. I'm advocating for a strong family. We have enough weak men procreating in the world. Enough's enough. On the screen here, I have Black Lives Matter with George Soros. So George Soros runs Black Lives Matter, right? We all know this. This is old news. But we also know that if George Soros runs Black Lives Matter, then that means that all of the protests associated with Black Lives Matter were strategically done by George Soros, which would have you believe that all these protests you see out here are all orchestrated. They're all orchestrated protests, meaning all this civil unrest you see is all by design. It's not organic and it's not real. Now, I've gone to a protest. There was a BLM protest, and I went to one that was started by the people of the community. Two different protests. The BLM protest I went to, and this was maybe, and I didn't go to participate, I just wanted to see how the protest really was. I think it was 2019 I went. But anyway, they were in an intersection. They were blocking it off, and the cars didn't blow their horns. People were getting out their cars, taking pictures, doing videos. Like it was such an organized and peaceful thing. I said they even brought birds out. That's what I feel like. I feel like they actually brought out birds because birds were chirping. Somebody was playing music in the background. I mean, it was like a nice, serene scene, and it was an overweight, obese woman from our community on a bullhorn, hollering and screaming. Because you all know in our community, and I'm gonna get to this, the women run Black culture, not the men. That's how everything. That's how Black culture is. What is an abomination now is because the men aren't leading it. That's why everything can come into it. Anyway. And it was just a nice, serene scene. And I remember thinking to myself, I said, we in Georgia, all these supposedly racist white people, and nobody's running their car through the crowd. Nobody's blowing their horn. I'm like, this is odd to me. And I knew some didn't sit right with my spirit. I said, this is a protest. I said, but it's really not. I said, something is going on. And lady on the megahorn just yelling. Then she do a chant. She says something, and they repeat it. I'm like, and everybody is complicit with it. Everybody's allowing it to take place, even to the point where they were spectating it. They were spectators. I said, well, that's crazy. Then the following year, I went to a protest on Crenshaw, right in front of, on Crenshaw and Slauson, right in front of Nipsey Hussle's marathon store, right in the area right there on the street. And I went to that protest just to see what they were protesting about. Now, these people were protesting about making sure that the people that were in that area were getting jobs. So in other words, people were coming to that area and they were setting up shop, but they weren't hiring the people of that community, the Black people. And so they were protesting to get them to hire Black people. And they said they go to each one of these businesses and they protest, and they said to get folks to hire Black people. I said, now this is a protest, but what was the difference in the protest? This protest had 5 people. The BLM protest had 100. This one had 5 people. The real one had 5. The fake one had 100. That was the difference. And then they also said that they were supposed to, there was the metro train going, it was cutting right down Crenshaw. So basically they had the metro rail going right through downtown. It was a big deal. Everybody was bidding for contracts in LA. And so the Black people were saying they deserved first dibs on the projects. And the city agreed they were going to help the Black people get these contracts to build this metro line go up Crenshaw through downtown. Now, what's funny is they did it for minorities, not Black. And so we know that minorities can be white women, gay men, trans, disabled, people that have an unpopular religious belief. You do know that people that are Satan worshipers are considered minorities. You do know that folks that worship Satan are considered minorities because they have an unpopular religion. So what happened was they gave all the contracts not to Black people, but to minorities. And when I was there, they were actually suing the city for that. Now, Governor Newsom was over that. So why did he give the Black people the contracts? Because what you all don't realize is that racism is economic. It's not what you all see on Instagram. It's not what they talk about on TV. Racism is economic. It's not what you all think. What you all are crying about is being insecure, having low self-esteem. Racism is something that you would have to fight in a court with no cameras, no TikToks, no Instagram, no Twitters. You in court fighting this and ain't don't nobody see it. And then when you win, they're gonna cut you a check. That's how you know it's racism. All this other stuff is just you being insecure. That's all. But let me get to this letter by Margaret Sanger. Let me get this letter by Margaret Sanger. Now, we all know that Margaret Sanger is or was racist. I can say is because her spirit still lives on. I said her spirit still lives on. Because how Margaret Sanger felt is how most of your liberals feel. So in this letter, dated December 10th, 1939, to Dr. C.J. Gamble, 255 Adams Street, Milton, Massachusetts. Dear Dr. Gamble, it's good to know that you are recovering. I also am stepping up and have felt much better the past week. Now, this is a letter that was written to this person by Margaret Sanger. You can see it. You can see it. You can see it. You all see it? I don't know if you can. Can you see it? It's an old letter from 1939. December 10th, 1939. Margaret Sanger. I'm not going to read the first page because the first page deals with, I'll read the first couple of lines. Miss Delp was here for Thanksgiving, and I am more than delighted to learn that she was able to get $250 from the California Birth Control Organization, plus the $600 from the Federation. That's good. She is a go-getter and a live wire. Very tactful and charming as well. I think that my pick of her has been justified, even though she's a little higher priced than the ordinary. She has been working on the article to be written by Miriam D. Ford, Miss Maynard Shipley. They were good enough to send me a rough draft for comments and suggestions, and the important suggestions that I made was not to include Miss Delp's actual name in the article because of the fact that her sister is married to one of the high spots in the Farm Security Department, and if the enemy started to work on her name, they might make it different along the line. Otherwise, I think the article is good. Now I'm gonna just fast forward. Hold on. As my sending suggestions to the Federation, I think it is really unfair for me to do so. I am too far away to have the personal contact of different reactions, and it only holds up any definite project to have the pros and cons battered about, which makes for more chaos and confusion. Now, this is Margaret Sanger. This is where the letter is about to get good. It's about to get good right now. Again, December 10th, 1939. There is only one thing that I would like to be in touch with, and that is the Negro Project of the South, which, if the execution of the details remain in Miss Rose's hands, my suggestion will not be confusing because she knows the way my mind works. So now she's about to talk about this Negro Project of the South. Now, this is the person that founded abortions, and I imagine she was just working for someone else. It's always a chain of command. But my point is, if abortion was started by a racist person, then how could it be good? If abortion was started by a racist person, then how could it be good? If racist white people called you black and said you were black, then how could it be good? This is where cognitive dissonance comes into place because most people are wrestling with two ideas in their head. Those two ideas oppose each other, and they spend their entire life with those two ideas never coming in contact. Miss Rose sent me a copy of your letter of December 5th, and I note that you doubt it worthwhile to employ a full-time Negro physician. It seems to me, from my experience, where I have been in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, that while the colored Negroes have great respect for white doctors, they can get closer to their own members and more or less lay their cards on the table, which means their ignorance, superstitions, and doubts. So Margaret Sanger knows we can use the people that look just like them to get them to lay their ignorance, superstitions, and doubts on the table. So Margaret Sanger, back in 1939, knew how you all's mind worked. Margaret Sanger, back in 1939, knew how you all's mind worked. I'm gonna read it again. From my experience, where I have been in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, that while the colored Negroes have great respect for white doctors, they can get closer to their own members and more or less lay their cards on the table, which means their ignorance, superstitions, and doubts. The funny thing is, she called them colored Negroes. That's like I don't know, it's like, what is it when you say the same thing twice? Not an oxymoron, but I mean, redundant, but it's a colored Negro as opposed to a non-colored Negro. So I guess there must be two types of Negroes because she says a colored Negro. She could have just said Negro. So clearly she's making a distinction between the Negroes and the colored Negroes. This is Margaret Sanger. She's an intelligent woman, so I'm going to assume she said colored Negroes over Negroes for a reason. I don't know. They do not do this with the white people, and if we can train the Negro doctor at the clinic, he can go among them with enthusiasm and with knowledge, which I believe will have far-reaching results among the colored people. So as you see that she's already planning and plotting to put the people that look like you in front of you. So now you know that when you see someone in front of you in a leadership position, you already know they were placed there by someone. So when you see Michelle Obama, when you see Kamala Harris, when you see Cori Bush, when you see Angela Rye, when you see Maxine Waters, when you see Oprah Winfrey, when you see Gayle King, when you see Beyonce, when you see these women, you already know, ladies, they were placed there for a reason. They were placed there more than likely by someone of the Jewish community. So that means Black leadership doesn't exist. Black leadership exists in the home. It doesn't exist in these high places. Because if you're Black in those high places, you were placed there. Fellas, Barack Obama. Fellas, Barack Obama. People like Minister Louis Farrakhan. People like Martin Luther King. People like Malcolm X. These people were placed in these positions. Because leadership in the Black community only exists in the home. It doesn't exist outside of the home. We don't have an infrastructure for it to exist outside of the home. So you should already know. I just saw a video, and I'm gonna talk about it this week, about FAMU going to Paris to perform. And everybody was saying FAMU going to Paris is Black excellence. It's Black excellence. It's Black girl magic. It's Black boy joy. It's all these things. It's Black power. How is you all performing in front of white people who y'all would tell me is racist because you would tell me it's Louis Vuitton. So Louis Vuitton, you're not gonna say they're not racist. If y'all tell me Gucci is racist, then so is Prada, so is Fendi, so is Louis. So I'm just saying, how is it Black excellence when it's performing in front of white people? How is that Black excellence? Oh, because Black can't be excellent without what? White people. Sounds bad, doesn't it? But if you don't believe me, just look at all the areas that we say Black is excellent and tell me where white people or Jewish people aren't involved. Now, I know what I'm saying sounds bad. I know what I'm saying sounds a little heavy, and you think, okay, he's selling out, he's for white people, but I'm telling you the truth. And the truth does not care about your emotions or your feelings. It just doesn't. I'm the coach you don't like. I'm the coach, don't care about your excuses. I'm the coach that says, get on the line and give me them suicides. I'm that type of coach. I don't want to hear it. His work, in my opinion, should be entirely with the Negro profession and the nurses, hospital, social workers, as well as the county's white doctors. His success will depend upon his personality and his training by us. Read that again. This is very important. It's Margaret Sanger. His work, in my opinion, should be entirely with the Negro profession and the nurses, hospital, social workers, as well as the county's white doctors. His success will depend upon his personality and his training by us. So now you see they sell you all with personality. That's how they get you all to buy in. That's how they get you all with personality. They get the women up there like Kamala, and she give a little attitude. She give a little attitude, and y'all say, okay, she down with us. They get the guys up there to say, oh, we ain't gonna do. It's all personality. It's all a show. That's how they get you all. It's all a show. That's how they get you all. You heard what she said, personality and him being trained by us. So you already know anybody they put in front of your face that's from your community is working against your community. I don't care who it is. Anybody they put in front of this is Margaret Sanger. This is Margaret Sanger talking. Blueprint. This is Margaret Sanger. This is Margaret Sanger giving y'all the blueprint of how they get you all to fall for folks in your community that look just like you. This is how they do it, with personality. They get on TV and say, we're not going to stand for it. We're going to fight against racism. They will not win. We will not let racism win. Everybody do this. Hey, no justice, no peace. It's all personality. It's not real. It's not real. Those same people, when they get done rah-rah in front of y'all, go sit down and have a meeting with some white people. Some white people and Jewish people, have a meeting with them. And they go and tell them, this how I did. Did the people buy it? Yeah, they bought it. This is what they do. You see, in order for this stuff, somebody said it, Barry Soetoro, in order for this stuff not to work on you all, you got to know who you are. Racism only works if you don't know who you are. This is why I tell you all, if your identity is tied to anything of this world, you will be controlled. God gives you your identity. God says you come from me. You are not of this world. So if you're not of this world, then this world stuff shouldn't be bothering you. I don't have time to concern myself with racism. It's too many bigger fish to fry, and it's an insult to God. How dare we be down here complaining about racism, and we got a God that sits over everything? What are y'all crying about if God sits on the throne? Why don't y'all ever go to God about racism? Why don't you ever say, God, I'm tired of it. Do something about it. You know why you won't do it? Because you know if God does something about it, it's going to be all on you. But here's a secret. It's all on you anyway. You're not asking God because you don't want God to pull that mirror up and show it to you. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? And the mirror was telling her it was her. All up until It wasn't. You see, what the mirror was trying to do, the mirror was trying to correct the evil, wicked queen. The mirror was showing her every day herself in hopes she would realize that she could be beautiful without being compared to anybody else, because the mirror is showing you yourself. So the mirror was trying to auto-correct the evil, wicked queen by showing her it's about you. You are beautiful because you are beautiful regardless of who else in the world. The mirror wasn't showing her a compare and contrast. The mirror was showing her herself. So then finally said, the mirror said, you know what? This ain't working. So let me show her somebody that actually looks better than her so she can get the picture. So maybe she'll see this other girl and she'll say, okay, I can't compare myself with her. Let me just be content with me being who I am. She said, you are not the most beautiful. It's Snow White. She looked better than you. I'm sorry. So instead of saying, I accept her looking better than me, and you know what? I'm going to be beautiful on my own. She said, I got to kill her. This whole walk and journey is about character. Snow White was beautiful, not because she was beautiful. Snow White was beautiful because she had character. Go look at Snow White and see what she did. She put everybody in front of herself. That's why Snow White was beautiful. And that's why the queen, she didn't want her face. She wanted her heart. She wanted her heart because she knew her heart was what? Her heart was pure. It's a character issue. It's not about race or race. It's character. She wanted her heart. She said, cut her heart out and bring it to me, because she wanted her character, because the queen knew she was ugly because of her character. And y'all are suffering from racism because of your character. And your character says, I'm soft, I'm weak, and I don't trust God. I trust what white people can do to me. That's why you're suffering. Stop being a coward, fellas. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Stop being a coward. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Stop making excuses. And go out there and be who God said you were. Stop being intimidated by a white guy because he's confident. That white guy deserves to be confident, just like you deserve to be confident. Stop being a coward. Most of y'all hated Trump because he was confident. How dare you? These rappers get on and make songs telling you all they better than y'all every day, and y'all accept it. These rappers make songs telling you all that they're better than you all every single day. They say y'all broke, y'all can't get any chicks, all that, and y'all accept it. Mad because a white person is confident. They racist. So listen, Instagram, I gotta close out and come back because my time is running out. So I'm gonna close out and I'll be right back to finish this letter by Margaret Sanger. Hold on, YouTube. Hold on, YouTube. What's the title of this? I don't know. I got it. Now we should all know. Now we should all know that. Now we should all know that. Okay, let me jump back into it. So hopefully, my folks on Instagram, somebody said y'all need a spiritual and parasite cleansing, right? It's almost to the point now where you have to be literally deprogrammed from Black culture. You have to be deprogrammed from being Black. You have to go through a journey or a process for it to happen. I've been on that journey for about 2 years now, almost 2 years, where I started realizing that The problem is that being black is not being of God, and that's the problem. And so, because it's not, all of our suffering is coming from it's self-inflicted. Because we don't interact with white people enough for it to be a problem. We don't. We don't interact with white people enough for it to be even be a problem with the races. We don't interact enough. So it's all some BS, but really it stems from insecurity and what Margaret Sanger said. She said, his work in my let me start over. Let me start over. I have been in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, that while the colored Negroes have great respect for white doctors, they can get closer to their own members and more or less lay their cards on the table, which means their ignorance, superstitions, and doubts. They do not do this with white people, and if we can train a Negro doctor at the clinic, he could go among them with enthusiasm and with knowledge, which I believe will have far-reaching results among the colored people. His work, in my opinion, should be entirely with the Negro profession, and the nurses, hospitals, social workers, as well as the county's white doctors. His success will depend upon his personality and his training bias. So we already know when they put someone in front of you from our community, they're already working against you. I don't care who it is, anybody that's put in your face is already working against you. This is a hard pill to swallow because they put people in front of us that feed our ego, but our ego is closely tied to being black. That's why when I say I ain't black, I'm free, it's almost all people hear is I want to be white. That's how brainwashed our people are. I ain't black, I'm free does not mean I want to be white. I would tell white people the same thing. I'm not white, I'm free. You are a child of God. Any identification with this world will eventually lead to you getting the mark of the beast, because the mark of the beast is a summation of all of your life choices. Pay attention. The minister's work is also important, and also he should be trained, perhaps by the Federation, as to our ideas and the goal that we hope to reach. So not only is she talking about the black doctors, now she's talking about the black ministers in the church. Notice how she wanted to control the medical industry and the church. Now I want you all to fast forward and think about the snake bite. And think about the snake bite and think about the two industries that they targeted the most when it came to this snake bite. It was the medical industry, obviously, and it was the black church. That's why all the black churches and pastors was pro snake bite. You see, Margaret Sanger's design correlates with the snake bite design, which will correlate with climate change. What you all will find is that all of these agendas, racism, climate change, transhumanism, transgender, all that stuff, they're all controlled by the same people. So when somebody gets on a platform and says that America's racist, you already know they're working for the system. How do you know this? Because if the system was truly racist, they wouldn't let you get on TV and talk about the system being racist. It's common sense, people. If the system was truly racist, you wouldn't be able to get on a platform and talk about the system being racist. If you don't believe me, go to China and see. Go to North Korea. Go to these countries outside of the US and talk about the government being bad and see what happens. Everybody outside of America knows that America is not racist. But they ride along with it because they know as long as you all believe it's racism, they can come in and get your spot. I'll say it again. As long as you all believe America's racist, everybody outside of the country can come in and take your spot. It's all by design, people. If you follow a racism narrative, it means you don't trust God. Because if it's so bad in America and it's so racist, then give it to God. Oh, you can't give it to God because you don't really believe in God. How do I know this? Because when that snake bite came, everybody I knew that was talking about bleed the blood of Jesus and faith without works is I'm healed by stripes, I'm healed. All this talk, as soon as that Peter pandemic hit the scene, y'all all abandoned your faith. So that let me know that the black church and black culture don't believe in God, but it makes sense because to be black is to be controlled. To be black is really to be satanic and demonic. And what you will find in the future is that to be black is to absorb all of the other colors, which means all the other races, which means eventually the whole world will be black. The whole world will act like black culture, and then the world will be destroyed. The minister's work is also important, and also he should be trained, perhaps by the Federation, as to our ideas and the goal that we hope to reach. We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. I'm going to read this again by Margaret Sanger, but I'm going to ask a question first. If abortion is horrible, meaning it was created by a wicked and evil person, then how could it be good to do it? Does God agree with abortion? The answer is no. So if God doesn't agree with abortion, then how can we justify having abortions if God doesn't agree with it? I'm gonna read it again from the horse's mouth. This is Margaret Sanger. It's a letter, December 10th, 1939. The minister's work is also important, and also he should be trained, perhaps by the Federation, as to our ideas and the goal that we hope to reach. We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. Now you see why the black church was pushing this jab the hardest. Y'all didn't see Joel Osteen pushing his jab like that. Y'all didn't see them mega white pastors, mega white church pastors pushing this jab like that. You all saw the black churches pushing the jab like that because the powers that be know if they can get you all to get on board, they can get everybody else to get on board. Ushers, guard the door. Get to your post. Ushers, get to your post now. They know if they can get you all to do it, you all can get everybody else to do it. Because the whole world is looking at you to see what's wrong with it. Because you all complain so much, the world is looking at you all to see what's right and what's wrong. That's too much. That's too much pressure, Blanche. That's too much pressure, Blanche. That's too much pressure. Again, if you all had went into the streets and said the snake bite is wrong, the whole world would have stopped. But because you all didn't, it got accelerated. And now they're talking about another Peter pandemic coming. That's what Biden said. Another Peter pandemic is coming because you all didn't have enough courage to do what was right, which lets me know what you all have been doing this whole time has been a farce, hasn't been real. I watched the entire planet protest over George Floyd because they saw us upset about George Floyd. You would have saw the entire planet protest about this snake bite if we were upset about the snake bite. So if you all want to be called the chosen people, just know you're chosen to be the moral compass for the world. And y'all are failing miserably. And everybody knows it. Margaret Sanger knew it. George Soros knows it. Bill Gates knows it. Biden knows it. Everybody knows that you all are morally compromised and that you all are cowards. Everybody knows. So they always come to you to get the job done, and you all do it every time because your ego is out of control. You're so narcissistic. To be black is to be narcissistic because you believe that everything is about race. And if everything is about race, then that means that everything is about you if you're black. You all are the epitome of being narcissists. The epitome of a narcissist is to be black. If everything is about race, then that means that everything is about you. Narcissism. Delusional. The minister's work is also important, and also he should be trained, perhaps by the Federation, as to our ideas and the goal that we hope to reach. We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. Dr. Umar Johnson is not rebellious. Brother Polite is not rebellious. My son is not rebellious. Sean King is not rebellious. Dr. Boyce Watkins is not rebellious. They're not. You know why? Because they're doing what Margaret Sanger is talking about. They're doing what Margaret Sanger is talking about. If Dr. Boyce is so woke, why is he still have an account? If Reza Islam is so woke, why is he still have an account? If Sean King is so woke, why does he still have an account? Why do these people that are fighting against the system, how do they have an account? But me, they deleting, they blocking 5 of my videos a day. So what is Blanche saying? They has all these platforms snatching down his accounts and his videos. What is Blanche saying that got these people wanting to silence him? If he's for the white people, what is he saying? I agree with you that Ms. Rose has done a remarkable job in thinking through and planning the project, but she has worked on it for some time. As soon as I knew there was the possibility of getting any money, I put her at work drafting the plan for Mr. Lackner. She is excellent at just such a job. She hangs on to the details, weaves and correlates them into the design. I shall never cease to have the utmost admiration and regard for her ability, and so far, I have not seen anyone in the Federation who could take her place. I am constantly delighted at the thought that you are getting better, and now we must pray for Miss Time, who is seriously ill at the Doctor's Hospital, New York. My regards to your Sarah, to yourself. Sincerely yours, Miss Margaret Sanger. So you see that Margaret Sanger's intent was to exterminate the Negro. She said it. So if her intent is to exterminate the Negro, then how could getting an abortion be a good thing? But here goes the kick. Remember, I said that all of your agendas are by the same people. Even racism. On the screen, people, I have the LGBTQP, don't forget X, Y, and Z community, talking about Planned Parenthood. So you all can see it right now. This is a pride symbol for Planned Parenthood. Now, this Planned Parenthood pride symbol isn't for Pride Month. This symbol's been in existence for years. This symbol has been in existence for years, because what you will find is that The whole purpose of this whole abortion thing, this whole abortion kick and purpose is to get you all to sacrifice your children out of the womb. This whole abortion thing is so that the women will sacrifice their children outside of the womb. So my body, my choice is going to deal with human sacrifice. And when they're saying my body, what they're really saying is my child's body, my choice. So my child's body, and I can sacrifice my child's body. I believe in the future, women having abortions will be a rite of passage, meaning that women will have children just to abort them as a rite of passage to be independent. It's no different than a person sacrificing their child to the false god to be free from God. Because basically what you're saying is, I pledge my allegiance to Satan, Lucifer, and I'm going to do it with blood. You see, the devil always requires a blood sacrifice, and now I realize why, because the breath of God is in the blood. Hold on. Ushers, guard the doors. The breath of God is in the blood. Now, I got this from the Real ISO. If the breath of God is in the blood, meaning that blood carries oxygen, if the breath of God is in the blood, then what would the devil require as the sacrifice? The devil would require blood. What would the devil require as a sacrifice? The devil would require blood. What makes gangs satanic is the fact that you have Crips and you have what? Bloods. And what do? They spill blood. Satan is always going to require a blood sacrifice. So if God's breath is in the blood, you see why Satan requires blood. So when you sacrifice that child, what you're saying is, you're saying that I pledge allegiance to not God, but to Satan. This is why they want Planned Parenthood. And they're going to convince women that their liberation, it goes in stages. Because first, when women were fighting for the rights to be like men, women wanted to pee standing up. Then they went from wanting to pee standing up to being in the job market. Then they wanted to go from that to controlling that vagina. Then they went from controlling that vagina to controlling what comes out of that vagina. Then it went from controlling that vagina to what comes out of that vagina to having the right to kill what comes out of that vagina. In the future, the position of women is going to drop down to last, because the trans community is saying we can be better women. And they're going to say it. They're going to say that we weren't running around here aborting babies, and they're going to be right. They're going to say that we weren't running around here aborting babies, and they're going to be right. Women did that. Women did that. The more rights women have gotten, the worse society has become. Ushers, guard the door. The more rights women have gotten, the worse society has become. You know why? Because women always had rights. If the woman was married, think about this now. Think about the married women of that time. Not the Hollywood version. Think about the average married woman. Was she really oppressed? Was she really oppressed if the men had to go out there and not only provide for the family, but also go to war and fight? Was she really oppressed? Was she really oppressed if the man broke his back for the family and he usually died first and left for everything? Was she really oppressed? Was she really oppressed? So they sold women on ego. They said, women, you are just as good as men. Now listen, we are all equal in value, but not in our roles. To God, we all have the same value, but the roles are different. The man's supposed to build the house, and the woman's supposed to make it a home. We're all equal in value, but not in our role. And they told women that their role was lesser than a man just based on appearance, just based on how it looked. They told women that you all should be able to stand peeing up. You all should be able to stand pee while you're standing. Stand peeing up, that's funny. But you all should be able to pee while standing up. That's what they told women. You should be able to, and because you can't, we got to be able to even this playing field. Women thought that men were getting over. But look at the casualties involved in men advancing society. Look how many men died and perished for society to get furthered. Being a man ain't easy. Being a man, you got to guide, provide, and assume all the responsibility. And honestly, most women don't want to do it. If you ask the average woman, do they want to do what men do? They're going to say no. So this abortion movement about life is all setting women up. It's just devaluing the woman because women will end up sacrificing children outside of the womb. And the world's going to see it. Women are going to look crazy doing it. And you won't be able to justify it. There's going to be a spiritual consequence for doing it. We all know that society is about progress. So it wasn't just them saying, I want to be trans and be free. No, it's I want to be trans in front of your children, which eventually leads to I want to be trans with your children, which eventually leads to I want to be trans and have your children, which literally leads to a man having a child. Sin is all about progress. So sin progresses. It never stays that way. So you go from cheating one time to cheating again to cheating frequently to having a full-blown affair. That's how it works. Sin is progress. So it's not just about abortion, it's about what abortion leads to. It's about what abortion leads to. What does abortion lead to? It leads to child sacrifice. So when somebody says, I look at women like they don't have a mind, that's not true. Just ask yourself, what have you all done with more rights? Honestly. Hold on, let me show you all. Let me show you all during the Roe v. versus Wade controversy. I want to show you all. I want to show you all what the song that Amber Rose dropped. Amber Rose dropped a song. Now, after Amber Rose, Queen of the Slut Walk, dropped a song. Now, keep in mind, you know that Amber Rose had a slut walk, and she was having tens and 20,000 women out there marching to be sluts. Amber Rose. Amber Rose. Let me find this because Jericho Green had it on his page, and it was her video. Here we go.
It's Megan Rapinoe. If you don't know who that is, lucky.
Here we go.
That's why you got Amber Rose making songs called Get Your Hoe On. Because now it's cool to be a hoe. Now it's cool to be a filthy slut with STDs. And don't worry, girl, after you're done popping bottles, just go down there and fucking get rid of that thing. By next week, you'll be back in the game. You'll be back to getting nuts busted in your face. And that's cool, girl. Gangbangs are cool. Loose vaginas are cool. Remember that, fellas? Remember back in the day when vaginas used to be tight? Remember it used to be tight? Remember you couldn't last week. You're done. Not anymore. Now you fellas got to deal with these loose, beat up, haggard vaginas. This is after they've taken a beating. That's why you got Amber Rose making songs.
Here go the song. And then they said that Meg Thee Stallion got a Plan B song out. So what they're doing is they're telling you ladies to be more promiscuous, get pregnant, to have the abortion. They're setting you up to let your rites of passage of independence be through murdering your children. That's the big play. In order to be a free woman, you have to have an abortion. This is what they're going to put in your minds. This is why they're pushing have sex, have sex, have sex, even though the STDs have been on the rise. The Real Nikki said the STDs have been on the rise for the past 6 years. The numbers have been increasing in STDs for the past 6 years. Even though that, they're telling you all, go out there, get pregnant, have an abortion. Free yourselves, lady. Get pregnant and then kill the child. They're making abortion as a rites of passage for women. They're setting you up. This is why everything is about you all having sex and you don't believe me? Y'all don't believe me. I'm gonna show you. Y'all don't believe me. Y'all don't believe me.
It's the world. Every single adult.
Y'all don't believe me. Y'all don't believe me. Somebody said the BET Awards was last night. I guarantee the BET Awards was some trash. I guarantee the BET Awards was some trash. I guarantee it was satanic, demonic, filthy, disgusting, and epitomizing Black culture. I guarantee it. Now I want you all to watch this to let you all know this is a protest. This is an abortion protest, and I want you all to see what it is. Can you all see that? Can y'all see it? Can you all see it? It's a guy with a penis on his head, and the bottom is a vagina. What is he showing? He's not showing you sex with a condom. He's showing you sex without a condom, because they want you to actually have more children. They want you to have abortions. They want you all to have abortions. They want you all to have abortions. Think about what they're saying. They're saying have abortions, ladies. Somebody said they can't see it. It's too much of a glare. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. Let me see something. Y'all see it now? Y'all see it now? So basically what they're doing is they're trying to get they're trying to get they're trying to get you women to have more sex, but not just have sex, actually get pregnant and then have an abortion as a rites of passage. I'm telling you what they're going to do. I'm just telling you. I just saw Lil Kim at the BET Awards looking. Think about it. They have our women. Just hear me out. The whole BBL surgery came about because women that weren't in our community wanted to modify their bodies to look like women of our community. Started with the Brazilian butt lift. They wanted to bust like women in Brazil, right? How did it go from women of color, so to speak, having these bodies that people wanted to our women of color with the same bodies leading the way in these surgeries? The reason why is because they need you all to push these agendas. Because when you all did it, when you all do it, you make the world say it's okay. Because you all complain about everything, the world thinks if they're not complaining about something, then it's not bad. Let's get deeper. If they're doing it, it's good. This is why people outside of America now are starting to call themselves Black. I told you that being Black will become global and everybody in the world will be Black. I said everybody in the world will be Black. There's just so many videos of children and, all this, But all this stuff deals with, ladies, you all sacrificing your children outside of the womb to the false god. That's what it all boils down to. For you to have your rites of passage coming through you murdering your child. That's all they're going to have you doing. Because they're saying more sex, more sex, more sex, get pregnant, terminate the pregnancy. And someone might say, well, what do they do with the fetuses? Now think about this, ladies. Now, if you know that when they take your fetus and they use it for all manners of wickedness and evil, they put your fetus in the snake bites, they put your fetus in the food, they use your fetus to create all kinds of hybrid animals and creatures. They use these fetuses all manners of wickedness. How in the world could it be good to have an abortion? How in the world could it be good to have an abortion? There's a picture of Miley Cyrus, okay, and I thought that this birthday cake of Miley Cyrus was just them trolling you all, saying, happy birthday, baby wasn't born, eat the cake, anime, eat the cake. No, what this really means is they want you to not just murder the child, not just sacrifice the child, but guess what else? Eat it. Not just, remember what I said, sin progresses. So not just sacrifice the child, but also eat it. This is where all this stuff leads to. These fetuses are used for all manners of wickedness and evil. So how could an abortion be good if the intent behind the abortion is wicked and evil? If the intent behind fighting for racism against, if the intent behind fighting against racism will eventually lead you not having any rights, then how could fighting against racism be a good thing? If to be black is to be, if the intent behind you being black is to be controlled, then how could being black be a good thing? These things are only good because they tie into your ego. All of these things tie into your ego. This is why we're instructed to die every day. You have to die to the flesh daily. So the reason why they want you to have an abortion is to eventually murder your child outside the womb and then eventually eat your child. Now you might say, Blanche, that sounds crazy. That sounds disgusting, blah, 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 all that stuff. But I'm just telling you all that that is the end game, because all of this leads to the mark of the beast. And in order to make a covenant with Satan, you're going to have to spill some blood. In order to make a covenant with Satan, you're going to have to seal some blood. That's why Cain had to kill his brother. He murdered, he sacrificed his brother. That was a sacrifice to Satan, his father. I don't want to get into that. I know this picture is bad of Miley Cyrus with this fetus, but that's what she's saying. They're eventually going to say, eat. Think about it. They're already putting blood on their skin to help their skin out. I know that the Jews have a custom where where the rabbis bite the foreskin off of the baby. So they already slowly creeping this stuff into, into all this stuff. Women eat their placenta already. So we already see women. So we already getting there. We already getting there. I know it seems far-fetched now, but eventually it'd be a normal way of life. What is a woman? What is a woman? Right? But really, what this is saying is, what is a man? Remember, Satan deals with inversion. So when they ask the question, what is a woman? What they're really asking is, what is a man? How do we know this? Because what is a woman? The question is only asked because men want to be women. The devil always deals with inversion. Think about it. Abortion is healthcare. Abortion is freedom. Abortion is a right. It's all inversion. What is a woman is really asking, what is a man? Because once you question what a woman is, then everything is up for grabs. So if it's what is a woman, then think about it. What is a fetus? What is a baby? When does life begin? The fact that they're asking the question lets you know what's the flip side of it. How early am I able to take a life? Not when life begins, not the question. The question is, how early can I take the life? So once we can't define what a woman is, then we won't be able to define what a child is. Think about it now. There's no way you're going to abort your child at 9 months and then say you're against pedophilia. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. You're not going to abort your child and then tell me you're against pedophilia. You're not going to do it. You can't tell me a baby is a clump of cells. If a fetus is a clump of cells, then what is a baby? A clump of cells outside the body. Think about it. Think about this term. A clump of cells in the womb, a formed clump of cells outside of the body. They're telling you all this stuff to just devalue the child. So when they tell you that you're black, they're just devaluing you. He's a black person. You just devalue. Think about it. I'm a black man. I'm a child of God. I'm a black man. I'm a child of God. I'm a black man. God created me. I'm a black man. God knew me before I was in the womb. You see how the black man part is diminished? You see how diminished it is, how low they brought you down by making you a color? And you don't even realize black people, they're only using you all because you all can influence the world. But you all don't realize that you all gonna usher in the Antichrist. Y'all gonna usher in the Antichrist. The black church paved the way for this snake bite. What do you think is next? We got round 2 of the Peter pandemic. What do y'all think is next? Right. Pedophile, minor attracted person. Minor attracted person doesn't sound bad. Minor attracted person doesn't sound bad. What is a woman is really asking, what is a man? But it's really making a statement. What is a woman is saying, no more men. They're not saying get rid of women, just no more men. BLM said it. The LGBTQ, don't forget XY, the LGBTQP, don't forget XYZ movement is saying it. China is saying we want strong men. It's funny that the people who want to take over the world are saying they want strong men. Everybody else is questioning what women are. So you already know the play is China gonna have strong men, North Korea gonna have strong men, Russia gonna have strong men. All these major corporations major countries gonna come together. They're gonna have strong men take over what country? America. Because y'all want to be over here crying about racism and being soft and being weak. Russia, China, North Korea. There's 2 other countries I'm forgetting. Russia, China, North Korea. I want to say India and Russia, China, North Korea, India, and there's one more country. Oh, I forgot. They're going to all come together and come against America We're going to be so soft. We got folks over here crying. It's just disgusting. It might be Iran. It might be Iran. So the real BLM is Baal, Lucifer, and Moloch. That's what BLM really stands for. Baal, Lucifer, and Moloch. If you think about it, all of these movements, every last one of these movements, climate change, the fight against racism, the fight against transphobia, the fight for LGBTQ, X, Y, and Z rights, women's rights, rights for the disabled, rights for the homeless. All these agendas are ran by the same people. All of them. They're all ran by the same people. When I listen to people talk about race, I can tell whether or not they're watching TV just based by how they talk about it. Just based on how they talk about it, I know that it's all media propaganda. Somebody just told me, they said January 6th, when I said it's fake. If January 6th was real, then they would just show you all the camera angles. January 6th, they literally showed you the police open the gates up and tell people to come in. Literally. The Capitol is federal government property open to, hold on. Cause y'all just be talking. I'm about to Google the hours of operation for the Capitol. Hours of operation for the Capitol. Let's see the hours of operation. Let's see. Visitor hours for the Capitol, 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Tours must be reserved in advance and are available from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tours of the Capitol. So the place that is open to the public, they're convincing you all that somebody stormed it. On January the 6th. Why January the 6th? Because 6 is the number of man. 6 is the number of man. That's why they say it's 6 feet of separation. 6 feet or more. That's why they got you 6 feet deep. 6 degrees of separation. All this stuff deals with the human connection. This all deals with connecting with people. That's what this deals with. That's why they want you 6 feet apart, because they know at 6 feet, it's a weak connection. Tours of the Capitol, hours of operation, 8:30 to 3:30. The visitor center is open from 8:30 to 3:30 p.m. Tours must be reserved in advance and are available from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Admission to the Capitol Visitor Center is free. And they got y'all believing that some people stormed the Capitol. Now, if everything else is fake, somebody said it's going to be six shots. I believe it. They're going to have y'all take 6 snake bites before they get you all to put that device in your body. They're going to get you all to take 6 snake bites. We're already on number 4. We're already on number 4. So just think about it now. Somebody brought up a good point. 6 snake bites. And then they're going to ask you to put a device inside your body. And these folks are going to do it. But if everything on TV is fake, then why would you believe the January 6th insurrection? If everything on TV is fake, then why do you believe police brutality? I've already proven with factual information that police brutality does not exist. Proven. Proven fact. I've already proven it. So when I talk to people and I hear certain talking points, I know they're still in the matrix. There's the matrix, there's the blatrix, and there's the gatrix. Matrix, blatrix, gatrix. Gatrix coined by my boy Duncan. But matrix, blatrix, gatrix. These are systems of control. So if what you're seeing on TV is controlled information, and I worked in television and film, and I'm telling you, everything that you see is by design. It's all scripted. Nothing is getting on TV without somebody producing it, directing it, writing it up. It's all by design, all of it. So if it's all fake and by design, what makes you think what you're looking at is real? I'll tell you why. Because it feeds into your ego. Nothing on TV is real. It's not. Somebody said, tell television, tell live vision. Who started television? The British Broadcasting Center, or whatever they call it, the BBC. They went from radio to television. They created television. First, they was getting you with your ears. The Bible says faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. So it went from hearing on the radio to seeing. Listen, man, y'all are playing Connect Four with the bottom out. These folks are playing chess. Y'all playing Connect Four. Y'all putting the chip in and it's falling onto the floor. Nothing on TV is real. So when you see police brutality on TV, you know it's fake. All these protests is all fake. It's all fake. It's not real. All of it's fake. Y'all are pawns in the game. Talking about we kings and queens. Yeah, y'all kings and queens on this chessboard, and somebody's moving the piece around. Program the TV. It's programming. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. That means people sat down every day to get programmed. And y'all think it's real? Ain't no such thing as racism. Ain't no such thing as police brutality. Ain't no such thing as sexism. Ain't no such thing as homophobia. Ain't no such thing as transphobia. Ain't no such thing as it. How do we know that? Because the intent behind all of the movements is for you to be a slave. How is it going to be real, but the solution to it is you not having any rights? It's not real. It's not real. We got the mark of the beast coming. Revelations 13 and 17. Revelations 13 and 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So that means there will be a name that will equal out to that 666. Now that 666 could be 18. That 666 could be 18. Or that 666 could be 18, which is 1 plus 8, which is 9. I don't know. There's going to be a number associated with the beast's name. So it's going to be a mark, it's going to be the number, and it's going to be the name. There are three different things: the mark, the name, and the number. Those are three different things for the mark. It's not just a mark. It's a mark, it's a name, and it's a number. So they're going to get you all three separate ways. It's not just a mark, because they know folks will say no to the mark. but you still got the name and you still got the number. You still got the name and you still got the number. So you got the mark and they go in, you got the mark and hear me out now. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. These are all ors. It's not all together, it's an or. This is how they're going to get people. This is how they're going to get you. So that means they may have 3 different ways to get you to get the mark, the name, or the number of the beast. That means the snake bite could be a way, and then there could be other ways. Snake bite, computer chip. Some of you might wear, like it could be several different ways. This is how they're going to get people. This is why they're telling you all to not read the Bible. This is why. This is the secret right here. This is the secret. The mark, the name, the number. That's the secret. Everybody running around, no, 3, and it's all ors. But guess what? Once you get one of these, here goes the catch. Once you get one of these, you're going to get the next one. This scripture right here is so telling because once you get the mark, you're going to get the name. You're going to get the number. It's all progression. We already said that sin is progress. Sin is progression. Sin progresses. So once you get the mark, you're going to get the name. Or once you get the name of the beast, you're going to get the mark. Or once you get the number of his name, you're going to get the name and you're going to get the mark. Like it's so really what I'm telling you is that once you get that first snake bite, more than likely, you're going to get the second, you're going to get the third, you're going to get the fourth, you're going to get the fifth, you're going to get the sixth. And after that 6, now we're going to start with all this craziness. They get real crazy. So what I'm telling you all to do is cut the TV off because they're lying to you. Your identity cannot be in anything of this world. None of it. Call yourself an alien, I don't care. Don't be of this world. That means you can't be black. You can't be white. You can't be Christian. You can't be Buddha. You can't be Muslim. You can't be none of that stuff. You can't be nothing of this world because anything tied to this world is going to lead to the mark, to the name of the beast, or the number. Anything tied to this world is going to lead to the mark, to the name, to the number. I love you all and thank y'all so much for tuning in. My time is running out. I pray for you all. I want you all to pray for each other. God's on the throne and God laid all this plan out for us to be successful during these times. So if you want to be successful during these times, you're going to have faith. Stop being a coward. Stop being a coward because a coward is to not have any faith. Stop being scared of being a coward. Remove death from the table. Everybody's going to die. Remove death from the table and live your life without fear. God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, which means God gives us a spirit of being courageous. So the opposite of fear is actually love. I love you all. Thank y'all so much. God bless you.